Monday, everybody!
Am I in focus or am I out of focus? Is that my eyeball?
Hey people, what's up? So, today I wanted to talk to you about something that I've been meaning to talk to you about since the beginning. That's right, Believe Cosplay is finally going to talk about cosplay. I know, wild. So I want to talk about what cosplay is in general, what it means to me, how I got into it, what the community is, everything like that. So for those of you that don't know, cosplay it stands for costume play, and it's the idea that you dress up in costumes, go to conventions, or just do it for fun. And that may seem weird to a lot of people, but for people like me, it's really enjoyable. Alright, so I'll just start from my beginning. When I was a wee little tot, I used to love Halloween. It was my favorite holiday. It's still my second favorite holiday, hands down, after Christmas. Boom, Christmas lights! But it was always my favorite. I got to dress up, I got to be a Power Ranger, or a different Power Ranger, or a different Power Ranger. I don't know if you could tell, I had a slight obsession with Power Rangers when I was a kid. Here is a picture of me and my best friend as Power Rangers. Okay, so that white Power Ranger costume I got when I was, I guess that old. I don't know how old I was. But I wore that thing so often. We used to keep our Halloween costumes in a bin so we could wear them all the time if we would play pretend or dress up or whatever. And I had that costume until it was stained and disgusting. It was red from, I think, Kool-Aid. And it was yellow from, I'm really hoping, sweat, but it may have been other bodily fluids. I was a kid. Give me a break. But I just loved pretend and dressing up and being that superhero or whatever I was at the time. So when I cosplay or when we do charity events or stuff, I joke with people all the time that I'm just a kid that never stopped playing dress up. I did it as a little kid when I was a Power Ranger, and I would play pretend with my friends, and then I got to middle school and I found anime, and I found Naruto, which was like my first experience into that. And my friends and I, we would make headbands out of tin foil and scraps of fabric, and we would dress up as these characters that absolutely no one knew about, and we would go trick-or-treating, and Halloween was that one day where we could be dressed up and other people didn't judge us. We got judged anyways because we dressed up non-stop, but that was the time where it was acceptable. And I started making these costumes and putting a little more work into them, and then I learned that I could make props. Oh, I wish I had pictures of the stuff I made back then. It's by no means fantastic, but it was just so cool that younger middle school me could take these swords from anime or movies and make them. I made stuff from Bleach, and it was my favorite. My neighbor and I got really into anime, and we found on eBay that other people were also into it because there were headbands we could buy. So we pitched in, me and him and his younger brother, and we bought our first Naruto headbands, and that was just the coolest thing. They weren't even great. They were like cheap aluminum, but we had actual headbands, and that was amazing. And then as I spent more time on the internet, I realized that other people put a lot of time and work and money into this weird obsession that we have with anime or cartoons or movies. And you could spend hundreds of dollars on a costume, and I fought my parents for so long to let me buy an Ulquiorra cosplay from Bleach, and I lost that battle. But I'm glad because it caused me to test my creativity. And it wasn't just about buying what someone else had made. It was about me learning. How did they do that? Why did they do that? And techniques. And you could go online to all these websites like cosplay.com or other websites at the time. I don't even remember. But there were these forums of how people did it. And everyone was just so helpful because it was so young and new. I guess other people have been dressing up and going to conventions for years. You have Star Trek and Star Wars and all that. But cosplay for anime and all this was so young and its beginning stages. That was incredible. This giant community was out there around the world that loved dressing up and being weird just as much as my friends and I. So I was this big anime nerd for a long time, and then my family went on vacation, and I don't remember where we went, but we stopped by the library before we left to get books or movies to watch on the trip. And I accidentally stumbled into the comic section. I may have been looking for manga, but I found American comics, and I knew stuff like Spider-Man and Captain America, and I liked it. I liked the movies. I liked the cartoons. But I found Spider-Man Civil War. It was the spin-off of the main Civil War line, which I know people give a lot of shit for the Civil War side stories, but that one has a special place in my heart. And I checked that one out along with a couple other books and movies, and it blew my mind that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, would unmask in front of everyone. And that just hooked me in the comics, like, immediately. So my family got back from vacation and I rushed right back to the library and I checked out every Civil War book they had, because that idea that the government was getting involved with superheroes was just so cool. It wasn't these men in flashy tights fighting other men in flashy tights. There was government involved and laws and innocent people, and that was the coolest thing to me. So I did what I think every nerd or person does at this point, and I was reading it. As I'm going through it, I'm looking on Wikipedia and I'm going off of this page, and then this page leads to this story, and by the time I was done I had learned the entire backstory of all these characters. And I realized that that culture that was out there for anime was out there for American comics and for everything. Star Wars, comic books, anime. This whole culture existed that was there to support and help each other in this obsession, and that was amazing. So like most people growing up in this community, I was a nerd in high school and middle school. Middle school was tougher than high school, I'd say, because I wore a Naruto coat to school. Believe it! Yes, I actually bought that coat in middle school. I argued with my parents to let me spend $60 on that coat, and I wore it. And I was not, contrary to popular belief, the most popular child at the school. So I got picked on in middle school for liking these nerdy things. My friends and I would get our headbands taken, and people would toss them around and joke with us. But luckily I had a friend base that existed both in school and out of school that was into this as much as I was. And it was, again, just this big support group. And that's what I want to stress what cosplay is to me. It is this support around the world, everywhere. But I'll get more into that later. So the years go on and I get more and more into nerd culture. I'm more into more anime and more manga and more American comics and movies, and I just started absorbing all of this like a sponge. And the things I knew, I loved Star Wars when I was younger, I loved superheroes, but it came back bigger. It had never gone away, as I explained. I always dressed up, but I was learning so much more about all these. I learned more about the behind the scenes of Star Wars and more about these characters' backstories and comic books, and I loved every minute of it. And then I had my first C2E2. I can never remember the year, so I'll put it right here or right here. I'll put it somewhere on this screen. But I'd heard about C2E2 before, and for those of you that don't know, it's the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo. It's held at McCormick Place in Chicago, and it is gigantic. And I'd known about it for a long time, but finally, me and Nina and Tyler and our friend Michael decided that we should go and we should, actually put work into a cosplay. So we heard about it. We're like, what if we do real cosplays? Like, actually try this and go. So we bought tickets and we dressed up as the X-Men. And now here's that picture. So we dress up as the X-Men and we walk in the first day and my mind is just... There is an entire convention hall full of people like me. They're reading comic books, they're watching movies, they're dressed up, they're playing games, they're taking pictures. It was overwhelming in the best way possible. So that was cosplay. We got hooked. We found out about smaller conventions in this area, and we started working on other costumes, not just the one X-Men costume we wore. We thought, what if we wear multiple costumes to one con? So we started putting way more work into cosplay, and through the years we just got absorbed into the culture. And to me, it's this family. I talked about that earlier in the video, and I know it sounds weird for people that don't dress up, but it gives you this sense of family. So we went to C2E2 for a couple of years, and at one of the C2E2s, I took a picture with a random Loki. I was Thor, they were Loki, here's the picture. And I ended up finding them after C2E2. We were both tagged in it. I added her on Facebook, and that is Crafty Rock Cosplay. Sarah, one of our amazing closest friends. So we started messaging. Oh my god, you're a cosplayer. Your Loki's amazing. Oh my god, your Thor's really good too. Yada yada, yada yada. It was awesome. Then we talked about what if we go to Michigan, where they live, and meet them. And that was so cool. Nine and I get everything packed up. We get our costumes ready, and we're ready to meet these complete strangers, and we're thinking, oh my god, what if they're not as weird as we are? So we get to the convention center. We're waiting in line and we buy our tickets. And I'm messaging Sarah and I am shaking because who is this person? What if we don't get along? And then we drove out to Michigan to hang out with them, but now we don't like each other. And that just seems terrifying because now we're in a state we don't know. I mean, I know what Michigan is, but now we're in this place and we don't know anyone and we're just at a random convention. And then, wham! Against the glass window is Sarah in her Merida costume and she goes, "Hi!" And I couldn't stop laughing and I looked at Nina and I thought, okay, this is gonna work. And we met her inside the convention and they're friends, and through the years, these random strangers that I met on the internet from dressing up with costumes have become a family to me. And I know how weird that sounds to some people, but for the past 2 years, I've gone to Michigan and I've stayed with these people and I've laughed and I've cried and we have this connection. I have a stronger connection with those people than I do with people I've known since I was younger. I don't know what it is about cosplay in this community, but it brings people together in this amazing, beautiful way. We have this love borderlining on obsession for these weird fandoms that no one else gets, and we can connect. And it's beautiful. We have our Michigan family, and we have our Indiana family, and our family is always looking to expand. So if you're a cosplayer who has dealt with shitty people, or you're new to this, hi and welcome. It is the greatest hobby I have ever had and had the joy of experiencing. It takes everything you love and are obsessed with and puts it with creativity and people who care about the same thing, and it is beautiful. So that's what cosplay is to me. It is dressing up and having friends and having fun. And this video may have been kind of long and rambly, but I wanted it to come from my heart. So there you have it. Now, to get back to your normally scheduled stupid shit on this channel, what do you guys want to see? I'm here with a camera and a couch and a stuffed horse. It's really difficult to figure out where the horse is when you're not looking at it. But let me know what you guys want to see. Use that comment section. It's down there and it's been ignored. This comment section has been abandoned and misused. And all you have to do to help it is comment in it. But give this video a like if you liked me rambling on about cosplay, or rambling, and definitely use the comments. Let me know what you liked about this, what you didn't like about this, what else you want to see. I plan on doing this like once a week, and I can't ramble about cosplay all the time. So for all of you that are still here, thank you for listening. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye!